Welcome back, everybody, to another edition of the Pierce the Canvas podcast. Feels good to be back. Been about a month. Just been super busy. Haven't been able to get a podcast out, but we are back. We're here to stay, and feels good. Pretty important episode of AEW Dynamite we're going to be covering here, as this is the first official unopposed week of AEW Dynamite. Of course, we're coming off the Wednesday Night Wars against NXT. NXT got slated to Tuesdays. So because of that, the Wednesday Night War is officially over. So this was the first week after the Wednesday Night War. Big episode of AEW Dynamite here. We had Matt Hardy versus Darby Allin for the TNT title. We had Mike Tyson as a ringside enforcer for Dax Harwood versus Chris Jericho. Young Bucks versus Pac and Ray Phoenix. So it was an absolutely packed episode. I did watch a bit of NXT. Unfortunately, they just did not... they weren't anything near what AEW had booked. AEW was definitely ready to have their first unopposed night. I think way more than NXT seemed to be. Although that's just my opinion. I thought this was a fantastic show. There's a couple of nothing matches, but I think overall this was really good. I loved everything with Mike Tyson. The opening match was absolutely amazing, pay-per-view caliber match. It's the first time I could even recall there having been a picture-in-picture commercial break during the first match. I don't think that's ever happened before. So, it just comes to show how long they went. Yeah, so the very first thing that we see as soon as the show begins is Young Bucks kind of explaining their actions. Of course, they pretty much turned heel, siding with Kenny Omega. They say that that's their real family. They say that Don Callis was right when they said that they had changed. Matt says that they feel like frauds holding the titles. Matt says they're no longer content. Time to bring a newer, better version of the Young Bucks. And then we see Mike Tyson introducing himself and seems to be pretty excited to be the ringside enforcer. MJF is quick to distract the interview. Mike immediately gets in his face. MJF says that his dad is a big fan of Mike. Says Inner Circle is pissed at Mike Tyson, but MJF understands where he's coming from. MJF tries to convince Mike that Jericho's the real enemy. Mike says that MJF is the real enemy. MJF asks Mike to think about any regrets that he might have, and he even points out his face tattoo, which couldn't have landed well with Mike Tyson, saying that basically that should be one of his regrets. Mike has had about enough at this point. And MJF, after he just insulted him, offers Mike Tyson a check, I guess to join the Pinnacle or whatever. Mike Tyson takes the check, tears it up, puts it in his mouth, starts chewing it, and spits it at MJF. And MJF's like, all right, man, you're going to have it coming. And it's like, dude, why are you threatening Mike Tyson, bro? And then that brought us to the very first match here. So once again, that was Pac and Ray Phoenix versus Young Bucks, who are with Don Callis. This is for the AEW World Tag Team Championships. And of course, they made it with the camera. They made it really obvious to show that they're coming out of the heel tunnel. They're zooming into the regular face tunnel, and then it's oh no, over to the heel tunnel. So out they come. And they're sporting new black and white outfits, no color on their outfits. And for whatever reason, though, they have in-ring confetti now. So instead of all the money coming out at the stage, they have confetti in the ring. I don't think that's more heelish. In fact, wouldn't money be more heelish? They should keep doing the money stuff. But no, they did confetti, in-ring confetti. And that was all colorful. It's not like it was black and white confetti, so... They might have to workshop that, make it a little more heelish. So at the beginning of the match, you could see that Young Bucks are trying to demonstrate that they're adjusting to the heel ways. So Matt actually at the very beginning of the match is going for a tag to Nick, but he goes over to the babyface corner. So he actually goes up to Ray Phoenix for a tag. And of course he's like, oh shit, that's not my corner anymore. He's in the heel corner now. And throughout the match, we were getting shots of other tag teams in the crowd, I guess just looking on. We had Jurassic Express, the Best Friends, a couple other tag teams in the crowd watching on. There's a really fun spot where the baby faces are trading kicks on Matt Jackson. They're just kicking him in the head, kicking him on his arms, kicking him in the stomach, just kicking him in the head again. Nick Jackson at one point is able to land Phoenix on his head and starts bragging about it. He's like, "Oh, you see that? Landed him on his head." Pac starts running wild after a hot tag, drops Nick with a brainbuster for a near fall. Bucks land stereo apron power bombs ringside, and Matt at one point was doing like weirdly enthusiastic clotheslines for some reason. Like it was really really weird. I don't know. I guess they were mocking something. The announcers mentioned they might be mocking their old selves. I guess. Pac's able to take him out with a huge clothesline. There's a crazy spot where Ray is jumping off the ropes and lands a Hurricanrana to Nick and lands a double cutter for a near fall. Pac's able to shortly after land a Blue Thunder Bomb for another near fall. Kick by Ray. German suplex by Pac on Matt Jackson for another near fall. And of course, we got a. It wouldn't be a Young Bucks and Death Triangle match without a Canadian Destroyer. That was from Nick Jackson onto Ray Phoenix. I don't think there was a pin attempt afterwards, which is good. There's way too much kicking out of Destroyers, man. Just way too much. It's an actual problem, in my opinion. We have Stereo Poison Rana by the Bucks ringside. Nick super kicks Ray Phoenix. Phoenix quickly lands a cutter. You know when he gets kicked in the head and then he sells the kick, but then he gets right back up to land a move and then collapse again. So he landed a cutter there. So now at this point, everyone ringside is knocked out. Pac sets Matt up top, lands a superplex. Phoenix with a frog splash for a near fall. Pac lands a black arrow, but Nick is able to break the pin. Ray Phoenix was tooth and nail trying to stop him from breaking the pin, but Nick was just able to. Nick is able to low blow Pac. Phoenix dives. Nick super kicks him, rips his mask off, and Stereo super kicks from the Young Bucks to Ray Phoenix for the win. And still, your AEW Tag Team Champions are the Young Bucks, and Don Callis comes to the ring for a celebration. So next we see Hangman Adam Page with Dark Order, and he's asked about the Young Bucks heel turn. Adam gives an update on Silver instead. He doesn't give a shit about the Elite at this point, or Bullet Club, or whoever these guys are. He's like, forget that. I'm going to talk about John Silver's arm, and says that he's healing up. And then they did a funny spot where John is trying to lift up his arm, and he successfully lifts his arm. So, yeah, John Silver's getting better after that injury against Darby Allin a few weeks ago when he took that bad fall. Jericho and Inner Circle and Mike Tyson are being interviewed, I believe, is Alex Marvez. Jericho explains he and Tyson made up after their 10-year rivalry when Mike knocked him out on a Monday night. Jericho asks Tyson that the match is called down the middle. Don't take my side. Obviously, don't take Dax Harwood's side. Call it down the middle. Tyson assures us that it will be called down the middle and even threatens to knock out Jericho if he misbehaves. And this leads us to Red Velvet versus Jade Cargill. Pretty short match, unfortunately. I do think it's because time was cut because of the first match. That was, like, again, good 22-minute match at the beginning. So this and the next match really got cut short. It is unfortunate because this was kind of a big rivalry and it was kind of a really underwhelming match. Like, it was one of those matches where there was as much commercial break as there was match. But we got a big tope from Red Velvet. Jade throws Red Velvet into the crowd with a fallaway slam. Red Velvet is able to land a Cazadora facebuster and a standing moonsault. That's a near fall. And that was pretty much her only near fall. Velvet misses a moonsault. Jade lands her Beth Phoenix finisher for the win. And I think there's like a specific name she assigned to it. I don't remember what it is though, unfortunately. But that was that. Next up was Anthony Ogogo versus local talents. I just missed the guy's name, and it was like a nothing match. Anthony Ogogo is a former boxer. I think he's the person who's been announcing on Dark for a while. I guess he retired from boxing, decided to come into wrestling, and started off as an announcer for some reason on Dark, and now he's officially with the heel Nightmare Family thing. And yeah, again, he faced a local talent today and pretty much just punched him in the stomach. And that was the end of the match. He didn't even pin his opponent. The ref just stopped it. You know, it's not even like he knocked him out or something. He just punched him in the stomach. And that was that. And that brought us to one of the biggest matches of the night, Chris Jericho versus Dax Harwood, Mike Tyson as a ringside enforcer. Obviously, a little surprising that they didn't put Mike Tyson in the main event, right? They put Matt Hardy versus Darby Allin, which was a freaking awesome match. We'll get to that. So at the beginning of the match, Jericho's quick to get a chair. Tyson takes it away. Dax grabs Jericho's bat. Tyson takes it away. Harwood goes to the doctor at one point to check on his head, sneaks a microphone, strikes Jericho with it. Jericho's able to sneak a pen and jabs Dax Harwood with the pen. Jericho takes the camera and he does his, like, I think he was doing it in New Japan, where he takes the camera and he's like shooting his opponent. Dax is like flipping off the camera. Dax is able to land a slingshot powerbomb for near fall. And, before that, Chris Jericho, after the camera spot, was able to land a lion salt for a near fall, as well as a big clothesline for a near fall. After that was the slingshot powerbomb by Dax Harwood. Jericho's able to lock in walls. Cash interferes with a strike. Sammy Guevara was ringside for Chris Jericho. I guess both guys were able to have one person ringside, so Dax had Cash, Chris had Sammy. Sammy attacked Cash after the interference. Harwood lands a brainbuster for a near fall. Jericho landed a codebreaker shortly after, and this is when the Pinnacle decided to come out, but the Inner Circle were quick to attack the Pinnacle. Cash is able to grab the bat, but Tyson knocks this man out. Bro, he basically did what he did to Jericho 10 years ago. He did that to Cash Wheeler. He hit him, man. He got him. And then they just shoot Cash, and he looks like he has no idea where he is. It was an awesome spot. I popped for that. Jericho's able to hit Dax with the Judas effect for the win shortly after. And Tyson celebrates with the Inner Circle. Jericho cuts a short promo and says, "Hey, I want to make it official. Mike Tyson is now a member of the Inner Circle." He did say he had another word in there. Like, he didn't just say he's a member of the Inner Circle. He said he's like an honorary member or something like that. So I guess anytime Tyson's around, he'll be hanging around Inner Circle. So that's really cool. And a big pickup for Inner Circle. Great match. Like, Dax Harwood is just an absolute sensational wrestler. Like, he's really, really awesome. He could mix it up in there with anybody. He brought the best out of Jericho here, and I think Jericho brought the best out of Dax Harwood. I thought it was a fantastic match. Next up, Alex Marvez is with Bullet Club. Callis is quick to take the mic away and just shoves Alex Marvez off frame. Says the wrestling world has learned that when we think we've seen it all, we've seen nothing. Says that the Bucks are the best team in the last 2,000 years. Says it's just the beginning. Kenny Omega says we wonder why they changed. They didn't. They're just sick of being told what to do. And says that they're here to follow the gold. Even though, unfortunately, the Good Brothers lost their titles, which just sucks, man, because it's like you have the Young Bucks with their titles, you have Jericho with his title, and then there's just the Good Brothers with nothing. I do think it was kind of stupid for them to drop those belts. Matt says it's not just fun and games. They had another match of the year today. Calls out the whole tag team division. Says whoever comes out has a BTE trigger coming. Callis confirms that we have the old Young Bucks. Warns us to be surprised again. Don Callis super kicks the cameraman, which was great. It was about to be the Young Bucks. They fake a super kick, and then they're like, "Hey, Don Callis, how about you do it?" And then he proceeded to super kick the cameraman. And yes, I just called him Dallas by accident. Next up, we got a short little video promo from Thunder Rosa. Says that she has taken over the world, is coming after the AEW Women's title. I swear at one point she said she was the AEW Women's Champion. I'm like, wait, what? When? I swear I heard her say that. I almost want to go ahead and rewind and see if she actually did, but she did say she wants the AEW Women's title also. She also mentioned that she wants a shot from Serena Deeb at her NWA Women's title, which she lost, which she actually did have. She didn't have the AEW Women's title. I'm going to have to just watch that again to make sure I didn't hear something wrong. But anyway, Next up, and hey, like it kind of stood out to me that we had two women's matches on the card. It's kind of rare, man. Like, and the women's match is always relegated to the same, second last segment or whatever. We got two women's matches tonight, so that's nice. And it was Chris Statlander with the Best Friends versus Amber Nova. And I read somewhere, I don't know if this is accurate, I really don't know, but I heard that this is Chris Statlander's Dynamite debut. It can't be. It just can't be. I just pretending to even say it, but I've read that somewhere. I really would be surprised if that's true. So Chris starts off with a boop to Paul Turner's nose, to the referee's nose. And then she proceeds to boop her opponent's nose and proceeds to deliver a scoop slam to Miss Nova. Amber, at one point, I don't know what the hell this was about, but she takes a rag out of her like wrestling gear, and I don't even remember what she was doing with it. Literally, my note just says Amber uses a rag. I don't know what she was doing with it, but she had a rag for some reason. Chris Statlander press slams Amber Nova. Chris lands a corner knee strike, lands a roundhouse kick, and her powerbomb finish for the win. So yeah, welcome back Chris Statlander, and she celebrated with the Best Friends. Next up, we have Dasha with Team Taz about the offer to Christian. Team Taz offered Christian to come into the stable, gave him a week to reply. Ricky says that they shouldn't even be waiting on Christian Cage. Like, why are we even waiting? It's been a week. Like, Taz says it's best for them to lock in Christian Cage. Taz tells Ricky and Brian Cage to stay backstage during the match for some reason. I don't really know why. Brian also said something as well. I don't think it was that important. I don't quite remember. But yeah, I think he was basically saying, like, yeah, we shouldn't be waiting on Christian Cage or something like that. I don't know why they were relegated to staying backstage. I don't know what the deal was with that, but okay. So yeah, we got that segment. Next, Tony Schiavone interviews Christian Cage, and I thought we were supposed to get a match. Like, yeah, yeah. Like I'm reading my like on my screen, I have the match card, and it says Christian Cage. Who will respond to Christian Cage's challenge? We didn't get a match. Spoiler alert. So anyway, Christian is thrilled to be interviewed by Tony Schiavone. It's like a Sting promo. Team Taz is quick to interrupt. Taz is pissed off, man. He's not happy for not hearing from Christian about the offer. But I swear, like, didn't they agree that they'll give him a week? They're like, we'll give you a week. We'll give you a week. And now this week they're like, how come we haven't heard anything? It's like, dude, he's about to talk. Anyway. Taz asks for Cage's response. Christian says that Team Taz has been a bit of a dumpster fire. He didn't come to AEW to fix Taz's problems. He came to win titles, and makes fun of Taz's height. And then ultimately just says, no, I'm not joining you guys. Taz says that he might be short, but his wallet is taller than Christian's will ever be. Which, dude, like, no. I highly doubt that. That Taz is making more money than Christian. I seriously doubt that. Especially the way AEW positioned him as like this all-time great Hall of Fame wrestler. Like, dude, they're not paying Taz more than Christian. Actually, Will Hobbs took offense to all this and decided to go ahead and attack Christian Cage. They brawl. Hobbs is able to take out Christian, and we'll see them in a match next week, as well as we'll be seeing Shida versus Conti. That'll be a great match, I hope. Shida, unfortunately, she can be like hit or miss, but I'm always impressed with Ty Conti, so I think it will be a good match. We'll also see Adam Page versus Ricky Starks, and Trent versus Penta El Zero Miedo. That I'll be really looking forward to. And this brings us to the main event of the evening. Matt Hardy versus Darby Allin in a Falls Count Anywhere match for the AEW TNT Championship. So Matt is quick to get a chair at the beginning of the match, catches Darby mid-dive on the back with it, continues a beatdown, tearing up Darby's back. His back is all ripped up from the chair shots. For some reason, Ethan Page and Scorpio Sky are watching on. I don't know why a tag team is watching on at this singles title match, but okay. Matt Hardy whips Darby headfirst into a chair, continues the beatdown. Hardy locks Darby's head in the chair, sets for a twist of fate. Darby's able to escape and returns the favor with the chair. Hardy family come out. Is that what they're called? Like the Hardy family business or something like that? They come out with a trash can and whip it at Allen and proceed to beat him up. Butcher and Blade set up steel stairs. This brings out the Dark Order for some reason. I don't know why. They come for the save, and then Sting proceeds to come out for the save. Sting takes out Isaiah Cassidy with his bat, whips him with a trash can, clotheslines Private Party to ringside. Ethan and Scorpio are about to interfere, but Lance Archer prevents this from happening. I guess he's out because Sting is out, and Lance and Sting are about to have a match at some point. Sting is about to double Scorpion Death Drop Private Party, so he has both of them set up. But Lance gets into the ring and he takes Isaiah Cassidy and he just lifts him up right in front of Sting with that blackout finisher, man. That's such a sick finisher. It's one of my favorite in all of AEW. I love that move. And I just can't fathom that they're going to even attempt that with Sting. Which is part of the reason why I'm so, taken aback. Why is Lance Archer and Sting feuding, man? Lance Archer could kill this guy. Especially with that blackout finisher. I don't think you're going to see him attempt that on Sting, man. I just don't think so. That would be uncomfortable to watch. But he does it to Isaiah Cassidy right in front of Sting. Sting throws Darby his bat. Darby's about to hit Matt with it, who is able to low blow Darby. Matt lands a twist of fate with Darby's head in the chair for a near fall. I fell for that. There's a couple here that I thought this guy's about to lose his title. Guys begin brawling in the back. Matt whips Darby into a monitor, sets up a ladder next to a table. Matt's able to land a leg drop to Darby through the table for a near fall. That was the next one that really got me. Matt brings Darby back to the stage and is about to powerbomb him off the stage. Darby's able to return a low blow. Darby takes the bat, starts beating the shit out of Matt Hardy with the bat. He's pissed off. He's whipping the monitors off the announce table, clearing the announce table. Lays Matt Hardy down on it. Climbs up like a part of the stage. You've seen Jeff Hardy climb this thing. You've seen Shane McMahon climb it. It's I don't even know what to call it. But this part of the stage, he's just climbing up, and then he jumps off for a coffin drop to Matt Hardy through the announce table for the win. Absolutely fantastic Falls Count Anywhere match to close an absolutely fantastic AEW show. I thought this was really, really good show up and down. I thought it was just as solid a wrestling show as it could get. I think it's super exciting that Mike Tyson is part of Inner Circle now, an honorary member, I suppose. I hope we'll be seeing him again soon. I don't want to go another year without seeing him. He's so awesome, man. He cuts promos like Mike Tyson would with the lisp and everything. It's just great. He seems pretty passionate about the wrestling business, so it's really great having him around. Maybe a low point for the show would be the Red Velvet Jade Cargill. I'm sure I'm not the only one who wanted a little more of a match out of those two, but I guess they're just gonna strap the rocket on Jade Cargill and just push her to the moon, man. I don't think they want to make her look weak at all, so they just had her take out Red Velvet pretty easily. Yeah, everything on this show is great. I like where they're going with the Young Bucks heel turn. The whole Bullet Club thing is super exciting. Don Callis, of course, warned us to be surprised again soon, so we'll see what happens in the coming weeks. But again, I would like to apologize for having missed so much time off the podcast, but we'll be back next week for another episode of Pierce the Canvas podcast. I would like to thank you once again for tuning in and checking this out for AEW coverage. We'll be back next Wednesday. Until then, take care, everybody.